Number 116, the fallacy of sending the wrong message.
Oh. Sending the wrong message. A dangerous fallacy of logos that attacks a given statement, argument, or action, no matter how good, true, or necessary, because it will send the wrong message. In effect, those who use this fallacy are openly confessing to fraud and admitting that the truth will destroy the fragile web of illusion they have deliberately created by their lies. Example. Actually, we haven't a clue about how to deal with this crisis, but if we publicly admit it, we'll be sending the wrong message. See also malefides. Can't this also so okay, can't this also be so okay, I see the case that they're putting here. They're saying that in specifically the context of it's such a narrow use case they put into this. It's like they're specifically saying in the use case of someone saying send the wrong message when they're doing something malicious and trying to prevent other people from learning they're doing something malicious. But like what if somebody says an alternative would be like um it's like if you are trying to like if you're in a funeral and you're trying to like say something about the person's life, but then you also say you ask a friend like, "Hey, I'm thinking about talking about how death is coming for us all, and we're all gonna die, so this doesn't even matter." And maybe the person goes, "You know, man, that might be sending the wrong message." I don't think that's actually like a problem. I think that's okay in that situation. So I'm finding it funny that this person's like the only thing here is like this like very intense example, but I understand. When I think of it in the context under which they've outlined here, my I get like tingling sensations all up in my chest and my shoulders. It feels gross. It feels nasty. Yeah. In this context, it doesn't feel great, but I'm laughing at the fact that the example is like the worst possible use case that this could be used in.
Yeah, yeah. So, um, in regards to your example that you gave with someone at a funeral, this list, just as a reminder for everyone, this list is not emotionally or societally based. This is purely like logical based.
Okay.
So, uh, technically, if someone gets that message from a funeral, which would be something that like I would do, and I would ask Alan, "Hey, can I talk about how like we should live our lives to the maximum because otherwise we'll end up like this clown." Alan would be like, "Maybe that's not the greatest message to share like right now."
Yeah, to be clear, I would never say the word sending the wrong message. And maybe that's probably an important point. What I would say to you in that situation would be like, I'd say, hey, that might be given the emotional sensitivity of the people in the room to the particular thing we're talking about, that might not be the greatest thing to say. Um,
Yeah.
so I might say something like that, but I wouldn't say sending the wrong message because then it assumes that there's a right message. So actually, yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, not that necessarily whatever said person gets from it is wrong. It's I think it's fine to be sensitive to other people's feelings. But again, that has no bearing on logic technically.
Yeah,
And so that's not a part of this list.
right.
Let's see, sending the wrong message. Um, I had an example of this one. Oh yeah, yeah. So this is actually a variant argument from consequence, which is a pretty big fallacy that I think it's good to remind ourselves of. Uh, I don't want X to be true,
Hmm.
and so if I talk about X being true, then that will make people feel uncomfortable with X being true, and that'll be the wrong message. which is just kind of just ignoring like whatever the truth is because it doesn't make people feel good. Um, so yeah, that happens a lot. That happens a lot for sure. This one is more specific in just sending instead of more inward of I don't want this to be true, so I'm going to believe that it's not.
Yeah.
It is kind of outward. It is I don't want people to think this is true, so I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah. I feel like this fallacy really thrives off of creating obscurity. It's like by saying sending the wrong message, it's not clear what the right message is. It's not, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, hey, we're gonna create some ambiguity around this. So I'll give you an example of um, like for the purposes of creating obscurity. I recently in my life, I had mentioned to you guys in the last time that we met, but we didn't put it out there that there was someone in my life very close to me who took their own life. And it was incredibly shocking and it was really intense. And it just so happened I didn't know this, but I was the besides his wife, I was the last person that he spent time with before it happened, and I was with him 90 minutes before it happened. And so, because within the groups of people around us, that became a known fact, that was like people started to, because in their confusion of like what happened to this person, some people would call and ask me and be like, "Hey, man, you were the last person that was with him. Like, was he saying anything?" Da, 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 da. And then, but when people get into that state of grief and they're trying to search for answers, they can uh, really want understanding and want it so badly that they'll try to create narrative that isn't real, but narrative that would make the thing make sense. And so someone literally said to me, they were like, I just can't make sense of him doing this thing. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't work out. And they were like, comparing, they were essentially were insinuating, they made the insinuation. They didn't say it directly, they didn't say it point blank. They insinuated the possibility. It sounded like they were insinuating the possibility that his wife did it. And again, I give it grace because they were trying to make sense of something. It was a part of their grieving process. And I said, hang on, before we continue, it sounds like what you're saying is, it sounds like you're saying you believe that his wife shot him. Is that what you're saying? And the person goes, I don't know. And again, it was this creation of obscurity. It's not committing to a yes, not committing to a no, and using language that allows there to be enough ambiguity. And in ambiguity and obscurity, you can swing things in particular directions by like pointing at it. And so to me, I think in this same way, this we don't want to send the wrong message. I think it promotes and increases obscurity so that the whoever's trying to swing the agenda in a particular direction without actually saying this is the way we're trying to direct it, I think that's a part of what allows this to thrive and also is a part of likely the motivation for using it as well, now that I really think about it. So that was what came to my mind on this one.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I'm always going to trust like forensic scientists. There's so much literal physics that goes into that to figure out like cause of death, especially when it comes to anything involving a gun. There's actually like physics involved, and so you have to do a lot of math to figure out like where it came from, how it was held and whatnot. And they can determine pretty quickly
Yeah.
whether if at the angle of how anything is done is even possible for another human to do it versus themselves. So if whatever the forensic scientists say, I'm confident that they're correct.
Yeah.
Um, so um, and that being said, I mean, it's not impossible at the same time, but like um what I've seen evidence of people that take their own lives, they typically don't have cries for help, they typically want as few people to stop them as possible. And so it's always very sudden. Like with Robin Williams,
Yeah.
shocker.
Yeah. No one knew.
Yeah. So um yeah, that's what I've seen. And not that they shouldn't get help, but I found a lot of people that are kind of cry wolf with that kind of situation where they just say they're going to. I've never heard of a situation where they actually did. Uh, Not saying that they can't, but like definitely I hope they seek help. But like, um, yeah, that's why it kind of checks out to me. Um, Based off of just you just told me that you had a great conversation with him.
Mhm.
You know, so yeah, uh, yeah, I think that definitely it falls under sending the wrong message for sure. Just because like you wanna always think of somebody as super happy go lucky that portrays himself that way, and when that happens, it's hard to make sense of it, and like look, bro, like that's how it is.
Yeah, it happens.
I wish I had something more romantic to say about the subject. Um,
You don't need something romantic to say about it. It's all good.
okay. Sarah,
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like if I've done this, um, or if I have like an example. Um, I don't think I honestly can't think of anything. Um, yeah.
It's all good.
I tried to anytime I feel like this is a thing for me, that like if I'm on a particular um group, whether it be political or religious or whatever, and if there is an opposition, there might be evidence that is contrary to what the group believes, and sharing that information will often be shown as sending the wrong message. Despite that, I still like to do it, because that's the reasonable thing to do, and it helps me not be in a echo chamber of whatever um, affiliation I'm part of.
Mm.
Strong.
But I've definitely felt that before. But yeah, that's what I would encourage is to even if something is against what you believe, and there's evidence to the contrary, kind of give credit where credit's due. Where you're like, well, there is this thing that is against what I am convinced of, and so maybe what I believe isn't fully isn't all there. Like I have some investigating to do if that's the case. Instead of just like, nope, that's that's the wrong message. That's not what I want to be the case. So I'm just going to ignore it because it's going to send the wrong message.
Hmm. It's a good one. It's a sneaky little one.
It is. It is.